In a recent live session that I held with my students from the Smashers Academy, I told the story of how my product got seized by trading standards and then removed from sale on Amazon. It was a bit of a nightmare, but I did learn a lot from what happened. So I thought I would share the story with you guys. So in this video, you're going to learn about exactly what happened. And then I'm going to talk a bit more broadly about my experiences of being an Amazon FBA seller, the downs, the pitfalls, and what that means for you. So I hope that you enjoy it. If you do, or if you did, please remember to give me a thumbs up and let me know what you thought in the comments. As you all know, I got married about a month ago now. And on the morning of my wedding day, I was getting married in the afternoon. I was having a lovely walk with my parents and my best man in Richmond Park. And I thought, I'll just have a quick check on my listings, as I always do, just see if there's been any additional reviews. Is everything just ticking along nicely? I'll check the bestseller ranking, etc., etc. So I do that quite frequently. I've got mild OCD when it comes to checking my listings. So I'm in a very pleasant mood, clearly because it's my wedding day. And I clicked onto one of my listings, one of my new listings, a new model of a product that I've sold for a while. It's one of my best sellers. And I was greeted with this. And it says from Amazon, looking for something. We're sorry, but the web address you entered is not a functioning page on our site. Now, when that happens, that basically means that Amazon has pulled your listing. They've removed it, you've lost your reviews, and there's a problem. And there's a number of reasons that that can happen. It can be because of maybe a patent dispute, somebody saying that you're selling something you're not allowed to be selling. It can be because your product is being deemed dangerous. It can be because you've got banned. There's a whole host of reasons. Now, the products that I sell, or one of the product types that I sell is within the electronics niche. And I've had this happen many times. Usually it happens as soon as I list a product, as soon as I want to start selling something, Amazon will yank it. I'll get this error message and it will basically email me subsequently saying, this is a restricted product. If you want to sell it, you need to send in a load of documents, right? So this wasn't the first time that I'd seen this image before, but it was a little concerning, I'll say, because normally you only see that as soon as you list a product, not after you've been selling it for a year. But anyway, it was my wedding day, and I was just like, I am not going to be letting Jeff Bezos and Amazon ruin my special day. Like, I'll regret it, blah, blah, blah. And I thought, you know what, Jansen, I've seen this message many times before, and I've always managed to solve it. I've never had a listing that I've permanently lost. So I went ahead, I got married, and I managed to keep Amazon and Jeff Bezos and all those evil people outside of my head. I didn't worry about it at all. I just carried on as I would had I not had the listing pulled. So I got married and had a great day. And the next day, I got an email from Amazon saying this, which is basically just what I kind of expected. And it said, we're writing to let you know that the listing has been pulled due to a potential safety and or non-compliance issue, right? So as soon as I saw this, I thought, that's absolutely fine. I've had this email many, many times. Typically, as soon as I list a product on Amazon, I will get this email and it's absolutely fine. And you can even see towards the bottom of the email, it says, how do I reinstate? So for food products, you can send images of the product labeling, etc. And for non-food products, you can send in a declaration of conformity, which I had. You can send test reports, images of the product, etc., etc. All of those I had, and I was like, this is absolutely fine. It's clearly just a bot that's just pulled the listing, and it's fine. I'll be able to sort it. No worries. So yeah, the next day I spent a bit of time with my wife and my parents, and then we jetted off to the Maldives. So before I cover that, sorry, this is some additional points that I wrote, and this is one thing why I talk about in the course why you should always list your product before you order it, because this could happen. And this has happened many times with me. What people have done in the past, or students of mine, or just people in the groups, is they've ordered a product and then they've gone to list it on Amazon. Amazon's yanked it and they've not been able to provide test reports or images or anything like that. And, they've just wasted a load of time trying to fix things when they could have done that up front. So that's something key that I just wanted to point out here, guys. When you are, as I mentioned in the course, when you have decided on a product, please, before you order it, do a test listing, create the listing, fill it out as best you can, and just see if you get one of these horrible emails from Amazon. But anyway, so the next day, we flew to the Maldives, and this is where I was just like, wanted to get into the no Amazon headspace. There was no phone reception anyway, or limited phone reception. I was just able to relax, check out, and chill out. So that was on the Friday. We arrived on the Saturday. And then on the Monday, I received an email, and the email was from Trading Standards. So you can imagine my heart rate essentially tripled. And I was just like, oh God, I could see the subject header and it said something like Amazon account or something. And I was just like, what now? What has happened? So the email from Trading Standards said your consignment was examined at the UK border on the 23rd of September by Trading Standards. The goods were sampled and sent for expert safety testing, and the test showed that the product failed, essentially. And this is the product that had been pulled by Amazon. So as soon as I saw that, I was just like, oh no, this is not good. This is not good. Am I going to get in trouble? And like one of my main selling points with my products are that they are safe, and I, genuinely like stand by that. Like I haven't just said that. I've paid for tests. I've done everything. So when I saw that, I was just completely like gutted. I mean, in the moment when I was kind of reading the email, I was just like, oh no, this is bad. But I carried on reading, and the guy said, please find the test report attached. We've contacted Amazon with the results and said that the product can be made available on the market if the labeling is corrected. Amazon have informed us that all of your inventory of your product has been removed from sale. So when I kind of read that, I was just like, hang on a minute, what's it talking about labeling? Like, what's this mean or whatnot? And I thought, at least I hadn't read the test report yet, but I thought at least they've said that my product can be made available if the labeling is corrected. So that's obviously something that I can somehow fix. But this now made sense why Amazon had pulled my listing down. And it's not something that I was really expecting. I mean, I did the product itself that I was selling, I did actually send with UPS by air, and it took over a month to arrive. And I just thought it was just standard customs and Brexit delays, but this now makes sense. It was Trading Standards had seized it, they'd taken it off for tests, and then really weirdly, they had released the product and sent it to Amazon anyway, but obviously just said he's not allowed to sell it. You need to pull it and get him to basically fix the issue. So I opened the test report, and this is when I kind of started to take, a few more deep breaths, and I was like, okay, hang on, this isn't actually quite as bad as I thought. So in the verdict box, it had a nice big red fail, but it said markings only. And when I read the detail of it, I basically realized that when I had updated the model, so I've been selling this product for a while now, I updated the model to like a slightly newer version. I'd left off a small marking on the back of it by mistake. It was my fault. I hadn't checked it, and just assumed that my supplier would have essentially copied the wording over. And because of that, like this is the first time this had ever happened. I think customs had or trading standards had seized it, inspected it, and they'd seen that it was missing a mandatory marking, and they'd failed it. And the actual test report itself said that it passed safety, like everything else passed with flying colors. And it was just this marking issue that had made it fail. And because of that, they wrote to Amazon and got my listing pulled, which, was obviously not what I wanted to hear on my honeymoon and happened on my wedding or whatnot. But, you know, it could have been much, much worse. So I thought, you know what? Being an entrepreneur is all about finding solutions. I'm not just going to, give up or anything like that. And I researched the issue, and I thought, I mean, from their email, it seemed to me like they just weren't going to allow me to sell the product unless I fixed this missing marking. And I thought, well, I can't, it's going to cost so much to send, all these units back to China. I had 1,000 units in an Amazon fulfillment center, and I had 4,000 units coming by sea. So a heck of a lot. And I just thought, I can't do that. It's going to cost an absolute fortune. So I sat down, on the beach in my deck chair, and I thought, come on, think of a solution. So after a couple of minutes, I thought, you know what? The only problem here is a missing marking. Why don't I, instead of sending the units back and having it printed, why don't I get my supplier to print little stickers with the missing marking, the missing wording? I'll get my supplier to send them to me and I will stick them on each unit. And that is going to take me a long time, probably. My wife has very kindly offered to do it. I told my mum and she was like, I will do it for you. But so it should hopefully not be too painful. We're going to drip feed them back to mine and do it gradually. But the key thing here is I thought of a solution and I mailed Trading Standards back and I said, are you happy with this updated wording? Are you happy for me to do this? And they said, after a few days, they did keep me in suspense. They said, thank you for your email. Our officers have checked your proposed labeling and approved it. Fantastic. So I found a solution and it's not, going to result in me having to destroy inventory or anything. It's just going to result in me having to get units sent back to mine and me relabeling before I can send back into Amazon. So I do think it could have been a lot worse. And as always, I was trying to find the positive. I mean, the positive is that it passed the safety check, right? And it's not just something, and it's something that's salvageable. So, take home points that I want you guys to be aware of with your products, particularly if they are battery powered or electronic powered or anything like that, that may require mandatory marking. So the first thing, guys, is double check all packaging and product labeling before you get it dispatched. You can get inspection companies to check that for you. Key kind of markings that you should be aware of are the UKCA emblem or logo, which is going to be mandatory from January next year, I believe. Then the CE marking, which is required on pretty much every single electronic item, I think. And there'll also probably be other markings that are unique to your niche, if, like I say, if they are electronic or battery powered. So the best way of doing that, and this is something that I did, is look at your competitors on and off Amazon. And the reason I say off Amazon is because typically competitors that you see in the shops, those guys are 100% on the ball. They know what they're doing. And especially when it comes to markings, it's not some, Chinese seller that, is just doing all sorts of things they shouldn't do. So do that. Look at what your competitors are doing and just basically do a bit of research to see if you need certain markings or certain statements. One obvious one for me is like having the made in China writing on your packaging. Officially, I don't believe it is required on your packaging, but just to be on the safe side, I would always include it. So little things like that. All of that is covered in the course, but you can never be too careful. So make sure, guys, that you do check with your competitors what they're doing. The second point, this is something that I referred to earlier, is always list your product on Amazon before you place an order and wait a week or so. Try and fill the listing out as best you can so that the bot can pick up any keywords that you've put in and flag them if necessary. Because what you don't want to do is list a product, is order a product, and then when it arrives or when it's about to be dispatched, list it, and then you find out that you need to provide a load of additional details to Amazon, which can cause unnecessary stress. The third one, and this is easier said than done, but I did manage to do it, is don't let Amazon take up too much headspace and affect your mental well-being, your mental health, etc. Try and compartmentalize it, and always think that everything is salvageable. You've got me, you've got the network in the group, you've got so many things to stop everything from going completely wrong. And that is exactly what I thought on the morning of my wedding. I thought, you know what? I'm not going to let something like this ruin the probably happiest day or the most important day of my life. I thought, stay positive. I've had this happen many times before. I've had many awful things happen with Amazon, and I've always managed to turn it around and, benefit overall. So I know it is easier said than done, but guys, anybody watching this, whether you're on YouTube, in the group, wherever, if you are ever feeling down about Amazon FBA, just please don't, and always try and stay as positive as you can, because I guarantee you will look back on any delays, any setbacks, etc., and you'll think, they were really minor. And we're actually going to come to some of the setbacks that I faced to just show you that I am not some Amazon FBA superstar that doesn't come into problems. I've come into a lot, and it's how I've dealt with them. Kind of related to that is just try and stay positive and be solutions based. And like I say, there's always something that can be done to turn things around back into your favor. Now, this is where I wanted to kind of come on to the ups and downs specifically of being an entrepreneur. That was my story there of how things, kind of looked like they were all going south. And I managed to find a solution to the problem. And hopefully now I've managed to basically salvage things and I can get back to selling one of my best sellers. But I have seen a couple of posts in the public group, in the private group, and emails of people doing product research, people selling on Amazon, and having up days, having down days, etc., and not knowing if that is normal. And I want to tell you that as an entrepreneur, it absolutely is normal to have good days, bad days, mornings where you're thinking everything is going incredibly well, and then the afternoon you're thinking, what on earth is going on? And the fact that I could find this so easily should, tell you that everybody goes through these things. There can be points, even in a single hour where I will feel all of these emotions here. So that is just something that I kind of wanted to say because, like I said, I have seen, a couple of people in the public groups, etc., private groups, wherever, just in the Amazon FBA communities, struggling with, motivation, feeling good, etc., etc. But then other days they'll be feeling great, and that is just part and parcel of being an entrepreneur, and that is why the prize with being an entrepreneur is so great. So I also wanted to share with you guys before we kind of go through Q&A and anything like that. If you want to, learn more about that story, I want to tell you exactly what I've been through in my 3 or 4 years now of being an Amazon FBA seller to really highlight to you that if you're going through problems and you're feeling like it's only just you, it's not just you, right? It's me. It's absolutely everybody. Anyone that says they don't go through these problems is lying or very, very lucky. So, are you ready? A number of these you'll be aware of if you've been following me for a while now on YouTube, or you've just, known me for a while or whatnot. We've been chatting. You will know a lot of these that I've been through. So, the first is that my very first product that I started to sell on Amazon that really gave me a taste for how awesome Amazon FBA is. It generated me £15,000 profit in the first 3 months. And I was just like, this product is amazing and it's going to make me super, super rich. Well, that product actually ended up failing after about 6 months, 6 or 9 months. And the reason was because well, it was because of my own greed. Yeah, it was basically because of me just bartering too hard and getting my supplier to reduce the price so much that the quality suffered. And as a result of that, I got loads of 1-star reviews and the product just was not shifting whatsoever. So I was stuck with I think I was stuck with about 2,000 units. And I was just like, wow, how am I going to be able to get rid of these? So that was a problem that I faced. Another one was that a listing of mine was removed due to a patent infringement. So I wasn't actually aware that I was infringing on a patent, but I ended up getting my listing pulled, and that caused a load of delays and problems. And again, just made me think, what the heck is going on? This is awful. Should I quit? Blah, blah, blah. So that was another one. This is quite a long list, by the way, guys. So, third one is my account got suspended. So this was, I think, within 6 months or so of me selling. I did something that I just spoke about at the beginning of this session, which is I changed credit card details, and I changed them at like 2 in the morning when I was getting back from a night out or something. Don't ask me why. It was a very silly thing to do, but I did it, and my account got suspended, and I ended up getting suspended for about 2 weeks. So that was another setback where I was thinking, oh, am I going to get my account back? I've got all this stock, etc., etc. Next one is shipments cancelled due to sending too much in. So this happened like quite recently. Amazon were like, yeah, you can send stock in, and I, paid for UPS shipping, sent it in, and then the next day Amazon was like, you've gone over your limit, so we're going to refuse any stock. We're going to send it back, and that was just like, oh god, what's going on? So that was another problem. I was also attacked by a competitor with fake one-star reviews. On the upside, I did get onto the BBC because of that story. I've had my listings copied by competitors. I've had shipment delays because of COVID. My product sales, on one of my niches suffered last year because of COVID, reduced profit margins, shipment seized by trading standards, and so on and so on. So I hope you guys can now see that I have had my fair share of problems. But out of all of those problems, do you know how many of those are still unfixed, with the exception of the last one, which I kind of do think is half fixed, but it's only just happened. But yeah, all of these problems here, these things that really could have made me quit, I've just found solutions to. I have been like, do you know what? I'm not willing to give up. The reward is far too great for me to just quit this job, and I enjoy it, so I'm going to find solutions to all of these problems, and I did. Every single one of these I have solved. The patent infringement one, I came to an agreement with the patent owner and they reinstated my listing. I got it all back. Happy days. Shipments cancelled, I was able to actually send them in, so that was kind of a half problem. Attacked by a competitor, I got them banned and my reviews removed. Reduced profit margins, I found ways to increase profitability, one of which is what I spoke about at the beginning of this session, to do with the card, and so on and so on. Everything here, even that first one when my first product failed because of the quality, I was able to shift them for break even because I just thought lower the price, change the text, amend the listing, etc., etc., and I got rid of them and I didn't end up losing any money. So it's all to do with being solutions based, not giving up, etc., etc. And because of that, this is like my position today, right? How awesome do you think this is? And I'm telling you guys, all of you are capable of this. This is like the app that I've got, Shopkeeper, that tells you your profit after all expenses. So this is after profit. This is after PPC, Amazon fees, VAT, etc. To make that amount of money on a daily basis when I'm not actually doing anything. And I was making this amount when I was in the Maldives, just chilling out. It is like the feeling that you get is unparalleled. And when I look back now at all of these problems and then I compare it to that, I'm just like, absolutely, of course, it's all 100% worth it. The fact that I have not given up, that I have just shown determination and tenacity, etc., etc., it has all made it worth it. And all those problems there on that previous page, they just, pale in significance when compared to that amount of profit, especially when you understand that that profit there is more or less passive. The only thing I need to do is my advertising campaigns. So let me just go into full screen now because I wanted to talk a few points that I've got on the screen, then I can show it back on the screen again for you. But I kind of wanted to summarize all this up into a nice, neat little package for you that basically explains what I've learned over the past 4 years. And I'm hoping that 4 years of being a seller, and I'm hoping that this will give you guys the encouragement that you need if you are feeling down, if you're feeling demotivated, etc., etc. So, what I've learned over the past 4 years, and this is as somebody that is very active in the Amazon FBA community, somebody that has been selling every single day, that just eats, sleep, breathes this stuff, right? Out of the thousands and thousands of people that I've come across that are interested in Amazon FBA, the majority of them, and this is no exaggeration, the majority of them cannot be bothered, right? They want the profit, they want the reward at the end, that 600 quid profit per day without actually doing any work. And they will quit, right, without actually getting to that point of selling because they just can't be bothered. As soon as they come across one of those problems that I face there, whether that even be finding a product, a patent problem, profit margins going down, etc., etc., they will quit. And like me, you guys should use that fact to your advantage. I genuinely believe that if you are hungry enough to gain success, to smash this, then you will do everything within your might that you can to become an Amazon FBA seller, and you will succeed, right? You just have to show that motivation and that persistence to get there. And the reason that I know that is because that is the reason that I think I have been successful. I hope you can see from all those problems that I faced just a minute ago that I was talking about, that, like I said, I am not some superhuman that's got, special access rights to the highest level of Amazon. I don't have Jeff Bezos' mobile number, etc., etc. I was in and am in the same bucket as you guys. And the only reason that I'm able to, or that I've achieved the success, is because I am just like a little Rottweiler and I will not give up anything, right? Because I just care too much about this. And I'm just like, that to get that daily amount of profit and even higher without having to do much work other than the upfront work is too much of an opportunity to give up. So guys, like I said, if you ever do feel down and whatever for any reason, you should remember that, and you should see the fact that the majority of people out there, you should view the fact that the majority of people out there that are not as hungry, educated, and privileged as you guys as a huge opportunity. You should remember that everyone here in the Smashers Academy, you are in a fantastic position in that you've got the education, you've got the course, you've got the support, you've got me, and you've got the network. We've got over 700 members in our Smashers Academy mastermind group that are all amazing people, all willing to help each other, give each other reviews, give each other advice, etc., etc. You should use that in your mind as a massive motivator, because you have got such a big head start versus all those other people out there that are doing, what that are trying to become Amazon FBA sellers without all that, and with the, fact that they probably are going to give up, because that's just, what I've learned. The majority of these people, they learn about it, and then when they find out that it requires a bit of hard work, they're just like, whatever. So, guys, when you do face a problem, and you will face a problem, there's no doubt about that. It happens to every single business. There's no business out there that has ever gone without problems. And it's just like, I've said this a few times before. At the start of lockdown, I went for a walk down the road. I met a guy that had just opened a coffee shop, and he said he's absolutely gutted because he's got to shut down in a week for the lockdown. But he thought of solutions. He thought of home delivery. He thought of loads of different stuff. And I went to see him the other day. He's still there. His business prevailed because he is solutions based. He would not give up. There were other shops around the area that shut down because of lockdown, but he basically refused to give up. So let me just put this back on the screen now so you can kind of see any notes that I was talking about. I kind of wrote them earlier, and I was just like, rather than just reading it out bullet by bullet. But yeah, guys, you should absolutely utilize our fantastic network and the fact that you've got me to help you when you're feeling down, lost, stuck, whatever. And the number one reason is because it works, right? I'm telling you, it works. I've had many students before email me saying, Jansen, I'm feeling really lost. I'm just struggling, blah, blah, blah. And I've basically given them a little pep talk, and it's worked wonders. And they've gone on to find products, to start selling, etc., etc. And the number one thing, guys, is remember why you started this, why you are doing this. Like, some of you might just be doing it for fun or whatnot, but you're probably doing it to get that additional income stream. And that is what you need to keep in the back of your mind. And that, I'm telling you, is exactly why, after going through, let me find it again so you can see, after going through all of that crap, I refused to give up. And some of those, believe me, I was so close to just throwing in the towel. I was just like, you know what? I don't really know if this is worth it. But like I said, we're here today. When you're generating that, and it's by doing something that you absolutely love, and it's not, and also at the same time, it's by not actually spending much time doing it, there's no better feeling. So, like I said, guys, this was a very, very bit of a heartfelt session for me. I wanted to run through that trading standard story just to kind of get you guys to understand that we all go through shit, and also to understand that you're not alone, etc.